This is Vanguard's European Stock Index Fund ETF, and what I wanted to show this for is because it just shows more upside here. So if I've been counting 5 waves up to this point here, and if we copy that and put this here, that will be wave 1 there and wave 2 here. So you can see that I could probably put, I can see this is still building to the upside. I could put this as wave 1 up here as well, and here. This particular move in here, we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. That would just be the 3rd wave at that point too. So whichever way I look at this here, there's still, this is a daily chart, so there's still more, even if I take the most conservative view here, this is still more upside. So if I put wave 3 here and wave 4 here and wave 5 here, but then we're close to this 50-60% retracement level area here. Now, if we were going to be bearish, we'd put an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave up here for that. So would we be more bullish than this ABC? Well, that's possible. These 5 waves here as an example, but we'll just need, the market will need to tell us that, and we'll just need time to know that, because once we have those 5 waves here, then we can look at the corrective move. If it's going to be corrective, it's going to be something like this, and then it'll move up again. So anything above that second high, the B wave and ABC, then that would be would have another move up, would have this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So I don't know that. All I can say to you is that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're still going to the upside. So when we're looking at the FTSE and the DAX, that's really what we should be looking at, because this is a stock index fund, and that's the way that it would play out at this point. So what I could say is we're approaching a top. We're approaching 2 tops. We're approaching the top of wave 3 here in this instance, and then we'll have wave 4, so then we'll be in a corrective pattern, and then wave 5 moving up here. So that's kind of where the European markets are. Now, the European markets are very strong compared to the S&P. So this is the S&P here. We can see that it's only moved up like a third here. But at the same time, as I drew those 5 waves up there, this will be the same for this here as well. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? We could have it as an A and a B and a C wave here, and then we can move down at that point. Now, I don't know that, or we could just have these 5 waves here with an ABC pattern here, and then continue to move up at that point. Okay, so I won't know until we get sort of over here, but all I can say with the markets is we're looking for this top here. It's a little bit scruffy for the S&P. It could happen at any time, but obviously the 4-2 is going to be, anywhere between now and the 4-2 is where that's going to be, and then the wave 4 will be here, and then the wave 5 will be here. So that's kind of what we're looking at. That's where the US markets are. So even though the S&P has only moved up like a third or whatever, the DAX is, can see the crest of the hill at the moment, so it's much stronger, isn't it? So this move to the upside here, we've been counting it as 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave and the 4th wave and the 5th wave. I know you can count it a little bit differently than this too. I know that you could also put this wave 1 over here for this and look at this as wave 2, because you can get that count out of it. I understand that. But it doesn't make any difference really, because as I've said with this, we need to count 5 waves up here. And once that's finished, we just need to chill, and we just need to see if we get a corrective pattern to the downside. Now, of course, when we approach the tops up here, or anywhere up here, it's going to be, the market's going to struggle. And we can see that the market was quite strong here, and then it's struggling here. Now, I'm thinking that we've got this here. When I look at this as at face value here, this particular structure from here, 1 and 2 is clear. We could actually put wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and then looking for that top up here in wave 5 here, we'll need to investigate this particular trend for that. So that's possible to have it like that. But when I go in and have a look at this particular structure in a lot of detail here, it tells me that I need to put this wave 3 up here for that. and then we'll look for the wave 4. And I kind of like that, because the situation is that as I mentioned with the S&P, if I'm correct here with wave 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave here, we're going to all the markets are going to correct together. They're all kind of on an intraday basis. Everything kind of does the same nearly, you know, but they all sort of warp a little bit to continue their own larger patterns, which are kind of normally in the same track as everything else, but obviously some stretch out, some can't, and you know, there's all sorts of different looking markets as there are human beings. So yeah, so that's sort of it in a bit of a nutshell. This top here, that's 16 to 16.3 here, that's the actual top of this market here, so 16,300, we need to remember that. Obviously the 16,000 here, this old top here will probably be retested with this wave 4 here, and the 16,000 is also going to be important as well as some particular top in here for this wave 3 top here. So I think we've got a little bit more to push up on that. So that's basically where we are with this. I'm not too sure what intraday charts I've updated, what I haven't updated. This is one here that looks at it as a pretty straightforward situation of 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and then we're going up for the fifth wave here. That would have that top in there. Which is fine, but I just don't think that's in line with the S&P and so on at this point, or the European stocks, let alone the American stocks. But at the same time, we should actually be, you know, when we're counting this here, we should be careful once we get to the, once we get to the 16 here. Let's, anywhere close to that's going to be. Let's just give that a little bit of gravitas here. And yeah, so I mean, there's going to be a problem with that number, isn't it? And we can see that it was going fast up here, or reasonably, it was going fast here, and then a bit slower, but, sort of confidently sort of chugging along. And now we can see the market's actually, compared to this trend and this trend here, where the trend was tight, here we're seeing it kind of quite volatile really in its own little way. And the angle of it compared to these here, the angle's getting like, it's telling us that it's waving the flag that there is some sort of top approaching here. So, it's not really the place to be long. And if you were long in the dangerous situation, well, then you would just trade a lot less. Now, that's one way to look at it to the upside. I'll have a look on 1,000. I'm not sure if I'm on 100. This is the other way to count it up. So basically, from this wave 4 here, in this case, we're looking for 1 and 2. And then from blue 2, we're looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 for blue wave 3 here. So I'll put that at 16,000. It may move, maybe shy of it, may hit it, maybe a little bit above, but whatever. It's not going to go very far because it's not a strong trend here. It's really sort of like it's hobbling home from the pub late at night. So it's you just need to be careful of the road, so to speak, that you're on here. But this counts a little bit differently than 1, 2, and 3 and 4. And this is all a little bit mixed up in here. It's a little bit hard to decipher. But you can look at it in different ways. You could look at it as all of wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here for 1 and 2. And then start building up 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, fifth. So it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here. That could work. There's a few different ways. Did I have some little? Oh, there they are here, staring me in the face as usual. So we could look at it like this here. You could probably even put it here and put wave 2 over here for this, because there's overlap on this one here. So there's different, I've been looking at this in different ways, but if you just start off conservatively, then that would be sort of it. So just getting to, getting up here somewhere, you know now that there's that, yes, it can go higher, but there's a turn there. And if this is correct, then from here, we would naturally just come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, or the 38.2%. There'll be some corrective pattern occurring in here, as there will be for the US markets as well. Okay, so that's the DAX. There's not a lot left in all of this up here, so just be a little bit mindful about how you navigate that. So the FTSE's it's chugging, it's doing the same thing. So here we've got wave 1 and 2, and here we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's how we've had it. And then this one's just kept on building and building and building. So I even have to sort of push it out a little bit more. I mean, normally I'd be inclined to, I want to get this wave 3 here and that wave 4. Then I can line my ducks up with the DAX, you know. So that's because normally I'd look at this as 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 here, and then this would be the third wave, the way that it's creeping to the upside. And it very well may be that could be the case, but it wouldn't put me in line with everything else. So I'm going to continue with it as this 5th wave here. That's another, we're looking after another little doggy. Fred's gone on holiday, so a bit of a, likes to bark. Yeah, so here I was thinking of 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, 4th wave, and then I need to rearrange this here a little bit. It's okay with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, a bit dodgy. So I might have to put all that up there as wave 1, and then we're counting this up here yesterday. I'm okay with this. This is 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, 4th and 5th. That's all good. So we do need to move things along up here somewhere. So I've got to really stretch it out in this particular structure here. So it would probably go something like this here. I'll need to mull it over a little bit, but we've got to kind of just keep edging forward a little bit in all of this, you know. So we just got to be, I don't want to sort of like shoot for the moon or anything, because I know that we're nearly there, you know. Famous last words, but I mean, it should go up, be pulled to the 8,000. That's what, you know, that's what I can see that it's trying to do. This is what it's doing here, you know. But I'm just not sure how that's going to play out. But I can see that this little move here is in 5 waves to here at least. I could probably, technically, I can see that I need to put it here. I just can't see where the other little wave is, maybe there. But 2 here, and then this is all of 1 and 2. So it should be building to the upside. It shouldn't be a B wave or anything. But being in the off session, the futures market in the off session for the Asian session, it's not going to, you know, it's not going to hold together too well on low volume with its patterns. But yeah, it should push a little bit higher. So yeah, just wait for this to you know, it's good that this is coming back. Maybe when the session opens, look to buy new highs if you wanted to trade up, and use group 1 of 7,900, so 10, 20 and 30. If you get support on 30, great, then you'll get to 50. You know the routine. 1 step at a time from here on in, though, you know, because we are looking for that that elusive top here that I don't know if it's going to be pulled up to here or it's going to fall short, all of that. But it's this little pattern here is not finished, so it's still to the upside at that point. Okay, so for the US dollar, this is another reason we should be sort of looking for a turn at the top too in the indices. I know it's not a direct relationship, but when you bring in the euro dollar and the sterling and the currencies into the mix, you know, everything is basically connected in one way through, you know, through carry trades and loans, and, you know, it's all the flow of money in the system, in different systems, so to speak, because you get people chasing, you know, the bonds and equity markets from the US to Japan and back again. So we've got US dollar, we've got daily chart, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can count 5 waves down here to the low here. And we've called that in 2 days ago. And is it the low? Look, it could be. We've got a little impulse wave off the low. And if that is the case, if we've got 5 waves here, then we're looking for a pullback here, then we'd have another move up. So, but 3 waves up wouldn't really help confirm it, because all of this could be down for 1 and back for 2 here, and then come down for 3 here, have 3 waves up here instead of 5, you know. So there's a bit of work to do, and I've got to kind of get the look and the feel of it right and all of that. But that said, if that is the case, if we have got our first little impulse wave here, then we're going to have some sort of ABC pattern here, and then we'll come down after that. So that's going to place pressure on the euro dollar and so on. So you know, when we're looking at this 5 wave structure down here, that will be the same as, so for the euro dollar here, that will be 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So do we have a top in here? Are we going to get an ABC back here? You know, is that? I mean, picking tops is a mug's game. So we need to wait for a little bit of evidence. But it's, you know, I've been talking about it for 2 or 3 days now, and let's just go in here to the 2K tick chart. I think that's got a reasonable count on it. So yeah, so we've been counting down from the top here as for this market, looking down here for 4, 5 for this wave 1 here. And then we'd count it up here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is it wave 1? Is it wave A? I don't know yet, you know. Yeah, been looking for this little move here. We're going to have a look at this, you know. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to get 1, 2, and 3 or an ABC up here. So it's going to be a little, you know, if it's going to be wave 3, it's going to be just as strong as wave 1. If it's going to be wave C, it's going to be lazy, probably dramatizing it too much, but be something like that, you know. So we'll see the speed of it. That can help us with it as well. We'll be able to have a look at what the, we may get a hint of something in the other markets as well with all of this, you know. Let me just get in a bit more data here and a bit more. This is just the first little leg up here by the buy. This is how I've counted it, be it right or wrong, from this low here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 5 waves up here, 3, 4, and 5 up here, and then looking back here, maybe, you know, maybe it's already done and dusted in here. You know, I don't know if this, as I mentioned this morning, I don't know if this is going to be an A, B, and C for the B wave here, and then come down for this move here for the C wave, or is it already in here? Is it something like this? Have we got it all in here already? I'm not quite sure. Haven't really bothered about it, to be honest, too much of pulling all this apart, but that's something that you may be able to do. So not quite sure the best way to view this just yet. A bit hard to look at that as an impulse wave. So I mean, that's the low, that's an impulse wave here probably, so we could look at that as 1, and, you know, going back for 2 here really as well in that case, you know, if we're prepared to jam it up in here, you know, as an A and a B and a C, well, to this point, that will have to be to the low. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see. We've just got to gather some more information on that. But that's where the dollar is. So the question is, do we have a top in here, and should we be shorting it at this point? So I'm just going to go, this 5 waves up here is the same as the sterling as well. There's 5 waves up for the sterling. Do we have a top in here? Yeah, don't know. But we're just sort of, we know we could be close. That's pretty much it. So we can look for trade setups within all of this, which we talked about yesterday. And just cutting to the chase here, that's the top. That's the first little leg down here. We could get 5 waves out of this. We can go 1 and 2 into here, and then all the way down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and then the 5th wave here for 1. An A and a B and a C going up for 2 here. Is that how it's going to play out, or are we going to get trapped here and just have 3 waves up there and put this here and then that? So I don't know if, I was thinking about this morning, I don't know if we should put this over here, or I'm just not quite sure. I don't want to get people trapped in there and get, you know, like get you short here and it has 1 more leg to the upside. So I'm a little bit unsure. So I'll just leave that there for the time being. We haven't hit the 61.8%. It does look like an A wave here. This looks a little bit complicated here. Look, if this moves up above 1.1, right, then you know the B wave is under here, and that means you can put your short trigger under that point there. But you'll be able to get a better price up here on that. So if that just went straight up here or came down here and went up there, then, you know, this is going to be roughly the same size here. And it'll go to the 61.8% roughly, and you'll see a quick drop from that point, and then you'll be able to retest against that. You'll be able to put this over here for that and wait to get triggered in on that side. So it's something like this, you know. Just make sure, you know, just don't overdo it here at that point. And this will be the same for the sterling as well. So sterling here, is that the top? This one had a better 5 waves up here, really, because the euro dollar was like pretty butt ugly going up there. So this is 10k here. So they had a better. I just need to talk about this a little bit here too, because from this low here of wave 4, we had 1 and 2, and then we had all this up here for 3 and 4, and then up for 5 here. So I'm looking for that to be the top. Like I said, it's a mugs game. I don't have a very nice 5 waves going up here for this 5th wave, so I'm a little bit curious to wonder if we're actually got wave 4 sitting over here for that, you know. So having this as an A wave here, a B wave, and a 5 waves down for the C wave here. So that's a little bit of an issue for me, this one. We haven't reached the 50-60% retracement level here either yet, so I'm just going to move that down here a little bit lower. Let that in the off hours just sort of fluff around a little bit. You know, obviously if this low gets taken out here, or if it does drop here and then goes back up here, then you can work it from up here and all those sort of things, you know. But definitely be a little bit careful at that point, because as you know, picking tops is, you know. And the other thing is too that, you know, calling a top in here will be a little bit premature in compared to where the DAX is, and because with the DAX and the FTSE, we're looking for this wave 3 top. Now we could have this as a wave 3 here, and this could be an A and a B and a C here, and then go back up or something. I don't think that's the case, but something. I have to get my head around it a bit, but I mean, it looks quite good here as the wave 1. It looks quite good here as the wave 3, but you know, do we take it to here? And is that the wave 4 to this point here? These are some of the questions. So we're in this case with the euro dollar and the US dollar, we're close on the. We got possible turns, but I can't quite confirm them just yet. But at the same time, I think we need to be taking very small positions with strong trade setups in the particular direction of the turn. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.